Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Washington Examiner that was published on October 5th. That's written by John Siciliano or Siciliano. I apologize for the butchering of that name. U.S. oil arrives in India as Washington tries to edge out Iran's influence. Now, this has more impact than taking money out of Iran's pocket. This is something that's going to create American jobs because it's going to increase demand for production of oil in the U.S., which means that there's going to be a need for more derrick workers, which means there's going to be more need for refinery workers, which means there's going to be more need for workers to transport the oil, like on the note of the ships. This is just going to create jobs, we'll just say. And they don't even cover that in this, which is kind of messed up because you would think, hey, this is a win-win for the Trump administration. Because for India to be buying oil from the U.S., puts Iran in a shitty situation because they're not getting the money from this emerging economy that's consuming a shit ton of oil if we manage to work a deal where we're providing all of the oil. I mean, we've put a dent in Iran's income by starting this. If we can take over as their primary supplier, Iran's fucked. At least on the note of the money they get coming in from India. So, yeah, that's a great thing. Iran is a Islamic, jihadi extremist nation. I got no problems with them getting fucked. And I got no problems with Americans being put to work in good, higher to high-paying jobs. I've got no problems with that. Energy Secretary Rick Perry announced Thursday that the first ever cargo of U.S. crude oil has arrived in India, reaffirming the goals of the president's energy dominance agenda, which is a good agenda because we have this surplus of energy right now due to things like fracking, tar sands, which, tar sands, it pollutes. No. Okay, you have this oil seeping up into the sand. All they're doing is cleaning the sand and returning it to its natural state prior to the oil seeping into it. So this is also beneficial to Canada on that note. So this is a good thing. This means jobs. This means money in people's pockets. This means people being able to, feed their families and maybe have a little extra money left over. So this should be brought up as well. I mean, it really should be. Perry said the new collaborative work on energy between the two Perry said the new collaborative work on energy between the two countries will increase jobs, economic stability, and national security, which it will. And you would think that this article would cover that fact of increased jobs more. It's almost like they, just in general, the press doesn't want to cover the fact that Trump is creating jobs. One of the things that he said he was going to do. This event represents the growing energy partnership between the U.S. and India, and I look forward to exploring new opportunities to expand the role of reliable, responsible, and efficient energy sources with our allies, said Perry. Which is good. I mean, India, if we can get them hooked on the teat, we can make some money. They can have their economy develop, and people be able to drive themselves around and transport themselves, and Iran is getting the shaft. To me, that's beautiful. The first shipment arrived in India on October 2nd, Perry said. Perry said the flow of the oil to the country was the result of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit with President Trump. Yeah, exactly. People try to portray Trump as incompetent and all this other shit, like in the press and in the with the deep state and the Democrats and just all of them. And here he is. This is something that he did. Okay, yeah, he might have a mouth on him, but you know what? His core constituency, people like me who voted for him, who doesn't believe in political parties and goes by the person, I voted for him on the note of he's either going to take and bring a sledgehammer and smash the system to pieces, or he's going to change things for the better. And the thing is this is one of those ones that he's changing things for the better, and no one wants to give him credit for it. Soon after that visit, Indian companies ramped up purchases of U.S. crude, the Energy Department said Thursday, which is a good thing. Although, you know, personally, I think the production should be at home. You know, like, we should be using a lot of it ourselves, but on the note of, I got no problem spreading some of it around with India. If it means taking money out of Iran's pocket, no problem. The Energy Department said to expect shipments to increase from ports in Louisiana and Texas, which Louisiana and Texas do produce a lot of oil. So this is a good thing for those states. I mean, especially with the damage that they've had from the hurricane season so far. I mean, this is a good thing. The president's energy dominance agenda calls for producing more oil and natural gas in the U.S. while also shipping more of it abroad, which is good thinking. Although, personally, I think we should keep most of our energy in the country. But, like I said, I don't have problems spreading it around, you know, and say on the note of, like India. It porks fucking Iran. I got no problem with that. India in particular offers a geopolitical dimension to the oil shipments because it's a huge market for oil and a prime recipient of crude from Iran. Yeah, we can make a lot of money while screwing over an enemy of the United States. To me, win-win. Jobs. Fucking over Iran. Win-win. I mean, you can't do any better than something like that. Last week, Interior Secretary Ryan Zink said the energy dominance agenda would consider using U.S. oil to supplant Iran's oil wealth in order to block its funding of terrorism and nuclear weapons development. Yeah, hit them in their pocketbook. If they can't sell their oil and have money in their pocket to pay for that shit, they're screwed. When it comes to it, I got no problems with that. Iran is a grave threat, and it is better to have options to address Iran economically and not just militarily, he said. Wow. I went like Porky Pig there on militarily. Yeah, and he's right. See, there are other ways to affect change when it comes to an enemy nation. If we cut off the financial spigot for Iran before they are able to physically develop a bomb, their threat level goes down, at least on the note of nuking a nation. It could increase other, like, things with Iran, like, say, on the note of, say, retaliation for economic warfare, like terrorism and stuff. But, which they're already funding terrorism, so this would also hurt that. I love how they don't even think about that aspect, because Iran uses their oil sales in part to fund global terrorism, to fund the jihadi bullshit. And this would hurt that as well. Zink said U.S. economic leverage would work to supplant every drop of crude oil that Iran produces, and energy dominance is part of that. Exactly. I mean, the U.S., we have wells here that have been capped off, that aren't being used, you know, and we're talking for decades, if not a century, this is the case. I mean, there are wells in California that have been capped off that they've cracked open within the last several years that were, you know, shut down for 80 years plus. So we have a reserve. Why not put it to good use by, you know, producing more energy here locally on the note of our country, not locally like, you know, your community. And also be able to use our energy to take on enemies of the United States. I mean, this is like a situation where it's a no-brainer. And I'm glad that this is going on, because we actually have jobs going. We have job creation. Sticking it to Iran, making stronger ties with India. I mean, these are all good things, and there's so much that could come out of this that would be a positive. You know, would be positives, plural. So let's just hope that things progress in a positive and forward way with this, and the Indian purchasing of oil increases and jobs increase and money goes into... I mean, we really need this to happen. I mean, we're hurting as a nation financially, whether people want to admit it or not. And this is just one step that's going to help us take care of that and stick it to Iran in the process. Anyway, I think I've covered this well enough, so I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.